This book shows in a wonderful and powerful way why we should prevent war from happening. The victims are on both sides. There isn't any conflict where there aren't people hurt, and mostly they're children, not because they suffer most in physical way. It also happens, but mostly because they can't develop their thoughts, their opinions. They are forced into believing what they are told. There are systems that prevent them from having their own opinions that aren't politically correct. And they are also killed, and it prevents society from growing strong and growing independent. That's why this book shows in great way that victims are on both sides. There isn't much difference between children who grow in Poland, who suffered so much trauma, and children growing in Germany during war, because both of them were traumatized, they were hurt badly, and most of them never could grow and develop correctly and in the way that could allow them to live peacefully and happily. And I think this book shows in the perfect way that war should never be allowed freely, and we should do everything we can to prevent it from happening.
I actually have no words to describe this book, how good this book was, and I have never cried so hard while reading a book in my life, and I read a lot of books, and I actually had to put the book down while reading it because I was crying so hard I could not see the paper. I think everyone should read this masterpiece once in their lifetime at least. I personally feel like I'm going to be reading it again and again and again and again because it's such an interesting perspective on a period of history, and reading the book felt like being given a history lesson, but in the most amazing, interesting and emotionally damaging way as possible. And I think having death for some parts of the story really took it to the next level. It made it very unique, and for me this showed that death is unavoidable and it will come for all, for everyone. So it's a kind of scary scenario, but it's true, and I think it was very well shown in the book itself, and the author did a really good job, and I would recommend reading this book to everyone, even adults, even though it's a young adult book. I think everyone would love it as much as I did.